여러분 안녕하세요. 오늘은 기분이 좋아해요. 그래서 이 비디오를 만들고 싶어요. 짜잔. Okay, so in the last video I spoke about how I learned Korean through a Korean language course at the Korean Cultural Center. But some of you might not have time for that, you know, dedicating every week, going there all the time, doing the homework. Some of you guys might be more practical. So I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to learn Korean out of the classroom. Let's go! Okay, so the first one is called Conversation Exchange. This is a website that allows thousands of users to connect through language. So literally whatever language you want to learn, you will meet someone there who can speak that language. This website is great for meeting people from all around the world who share the same interests or hobbies as you, and what you can do is connect with them through your language. So I speak English, of course, so when I signed up on the 6th of June, I met many other Koreans who are interested in learning English, so it's kind of like give and take. On the website, you can't see people's pictures, so there's just like a little icon of a flower or something random, but you don't actually see people's faces. So all you have to go by is their profile. For me, I personally like this website because you can actually tell how genuine someone is by what they've written and if they actually want to learn the language or, you know, maybe want other things. Yeah. So I signed up about like 6 to 7 months ago, and since then I've met some really nice people. And what you can do is, if you live in the same city as someone, you can also meet up with them, but of course make sure that people know where you're going and you don't want to meet a random stranger by yourself in a secluded place. So it's better to, you know, meet in a crowded place. So I live in London, so I usually meet in like Oxford Street. We go to a cafe or something, you know, hang out. And what you don't want to do is, sometimes I find I speak more English than I'm learning Korean. This is just sometimes, but you want to even out the balance. So maybe you spend the first hour speaking in English and then the second hour in Korean, or vice versa. But you don't want to be the one only speaking English. I only respond to people who I see have a genuine interest in learning English, because I know I can help them in that area. Also, the layout might look a bit old-fashioned, but don't be discouraged by that. It's really a good website to use if you genuinely just want to, you know, write to people or improve on your writing and, you know, meet new people as well as language exchanging. Okay, so the second one is Meetup.com. So many of you might be signed up to this website for like various different activities, but for me, who wants to learn Korean and is interested in Korean culture, I go to the one called the UK Korean Language Exchange. So if you're in London and you live quite central, maybe not central, but you can get to central really quickly, this group meets twice a month on Saturdays at Pret à Manger, or Pret à Manger, however you want to pronounce it, but in a cafe, and we meet at 3 p.m. downstairs in this cafe in Green Park. So I'll put the link to the address and everything and the group information. So if you live in London or visited London for a short while and are interested in Korean culture or language, then you should come along to this group. I mean, it's really great. I've met some really interesting people. Although some people might be visiting for a short while or maybe just on holiday or studying English, but in this meetup, there's a mixture of Koreans and people who speak English. So we all meet up and we kind of just like exchange languages. It's quite chilled. It's not like a school setting where it's like, okay, this is what we're going to do today. So for example, maybe we pick a hobby or talk about interests, and then we all just kind of talk about our interests. So that people who speak English can talk about it in Korean, and people who speak Korean can talk about it in English. So it's kind of like we're exchanging languages, and then sometimes we also go out to eat. So yeah, it's quite a good bonding session. So if you're looking to make friends or, you know, just, I don't know, exchange language, then yeah, it's a great place to go. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the third one I'm going to talk about is HelloTalk. HelloTalk. Okay, this app is really good if you really want to improve your writing skills. And I mean, if you're a real dedicated learner, unlike Conversation Exchange, this app allows you to actually see the photo of the person who you're talking to. So I don't know, some people find it a bit more comfortable to see who they're speaking to. I don't really mind. I'm not really that bothered. But with this one, yeah, you can see their photo, but it's not personal, so you can't see anything else apart from a little photo, but you can't actually zoom into this photo. But this app is quite effective because it allows you to physically correct somebody's sentence. So for example, if I wrote something in Korean to a Korean person, they would then see all the mistakes that I've made, and then there's an option where they can actually correct this, and then it crosses out sort of the bad grammar, and then they'll send it to you, and you can also see the corrections that they've made. So this is quite useful because then you can then refer back to it in the future and see, oh, okay, so I wrote it like this before, but this is actually how it's supposed to be written, and vice versa for any language that you want to learn. It's not just Korean. Also, you can send audios, and so if you wanted to maybe ask the person who you're speaking to, oh, how do I pronounce this? They can then send you an audio of the pronunciation, and it's not I don't know, KakaoTalk where you can send pictures and videos. I think they're quite restricted, and in terms of the kind of pictures you send, and then they send you a message saying maybe it's not good to exchange personal details on there. So it's quite restricted, this app, but it's really good for language exchange. It also keeps a record of all the corrections that you've made in the past. So what you could do is click on the edit. There's a pen tool. You'll see it when you download it, and you can look at all the history of all the corrections that the person who you've been speaking to has made for you, or all the other people who have made for you. And there's also a record of how much corrections you've made. I mean, the only negative thing I have to say about this app is that the connection can be slow. So it can be quite frustrating because I would send a message and then think that the message has sent, and then I'll look back and it has a red exclamation mark saying it hasn't sent. And yeah, it depends where you are. The connection is quite slow. So sometimes I'm just Kakao 있어요? Do you have Kakao? Let's talk on Kakao. But I think this, aside from that, also you have to be wary of I don't know, some people try to use this app to meet other people, and instead of exchanging language, try and exchange other things. But aside from that, you just have to be careful of who you're talking to. But altogether, it's a really good app in terms of if you physically want to see the corrections of any mistakes that you've made. Okay, so the fourth one is an app called Innovation App, and this app is connected to the website Korean Class 101. So I'm not familiar if you have had that, but what this app allows you to do is it has loads of different lessons. What is great about it is that it has a absolute beginners, intermediate and advanced level. So whatever level you are at the moment, you can just go onto the section that fits you best, and there will be a list of video and audio lessons which you can listen to on the go or watch on the go. On this app there are a lot of useful phrases and sentences which you can learn. There's loads of different sections. For example, you can learn about the culture, honorifics like age, Korean holidays like Chuseok and Pepero Day. I don't know if many of you celebrate that. Also, there's a small section where it kind of has the Gyeongsangdo dialect. So if you're interested in learning that sort of dialect, there's a lesson that teaches you how to speak in this dialect. There's even a series of what to expect from Korean dramas, and also you can learn about things like Jijobang. So it's a Korean bathhouse. It's quite famous. A lot of Koreans go there, and yeah, you can learn about loads of different things. There's also a pronunciation series. So I don't know about you, but I find pronouncing Korean words absolutely difficult, as in like tongue rolling, like "rrr." Like, what do you struggle with the most? For me, I think it's Leo, because in English it's like we say R or L, but in Korean it's like Leo, like it's just the same. It's like mind blowing. Okay, so the fifth one, last but not least, is an app called WordPower. So this app was the first app I ever downloaded because I did not know many Korean words. 왜냐하면 한국어 단어를 많이 모르겠어요. Like, I did not know like a lot of Korean vocabulary. So if you want to improve your vocabulary, WordPower is the app for you, I'm telling you. The great thing about this app is you can even use it if you're not connected to the internet. It has a whole list of vocabularies that you can use. What is great about it is that it comes in a flashcard format, so you can look at a word and look at the flashcard to help you study it, and on the back it will have sort of just the Korean word, and then if you know what it means in English and you get it right, then it flips over and it tells you in English. And it also has a little section where you can see how to use it in sentences. So there's many words and phrases. I hope all of this has been very useful. These are all the tools that I use personally to help me when I'm not in the classroom. The meetups and the apps and the websites, all of this is a contribution. So if you really want to study Korean and you don't want to be in the classroom but you want to be out, you know, you're more of a practical person like I said, then these tools are very useful. Actually, I'll share a story with you. I met a girl, my Onni, on Conversation Exchange, and what we do is, I've actually been talking to her for a while, so what we do is she sends me her diary through email, but she writes it in English, and then I send her back one, but I write it in Korean. So whatever method works with you and your other person that you're language exchanging with, you guys can really make it quite impactful and yeah, become really good friends actually. So 여러분, 감사합니다. Bye.